Hello, in this video tutorial I'm going to create an emissive phone screen material using layering mechanisms in Iray for Rhino. So let's start with the way. So here I have a model of a phone screen. It even has a glass on top. Currently that layer is hidden, so you see the glass there. But right now we're interested in creating the emissive phone screen material part. So I will turn the glass layer off for now, so we can concentrate on what's in the back. So here is our phone screen material, and first we need to start in a state where the screen is turned off. So I'm going to use a simple diffuse material and I choose add and edit. I call it phone off material. And many users might feel tempted to set its color now to to black and assign the material and say, okay, that's my material when the phone is turned off. But there's something you need to consider. And so if we enable the sun and sky system, so we are in bright daylight, you see one problem, that even under very intense sunlight now, this material eats all the energy. It remains pitch black, and there's no material on this planet that really absorbs 100% of the light energy. So what you need to do is to prepare a texture to define the phone screen's material when the phone is turned off. So I have prepared such a texture here. You can see it has faintly the pixels in the background, so even the black areas are not completely black, but somehow an RGB value of 10, something around that, so that even in daylight I get some more grayish look of the phone screen, which corresponds more to the real world. I do the assignment of this texture by dragging and dropping the texture from my file browser to the diffuse slot of my material, and now you can see that we see the pixels here. However, we need to increase the tiling because that would be a very low res screen, so I set the tiling to be 8 times as much, so we set it to 8 in both ways. So now you can see a very fine pattern of the phone screen. Okay, so this is now the base part of the phone screen. Let's switch the lighting back to our previous environment, and in the next step I would like to define the emission of my phone screen. So if you browse the NVIDIA core definitions folder, you scroll down, you will find the add emission material, and we can right click the material and say add and edit to bring up the material editor. And the add emission material has a color input to which you can assign a texture, and this is new in Rhino 1.3. Before, you could not assign textures to the color part of emissive materials, so that's changed. So I'm dragging and dropping my phone screen material in there, and you see the texture is being applied, and I can now drag and drop it on my geometry to see, okay, how does this look like when it's emissive. So this looks good. We need to take care to use the right units, so we're trying to do a 100% correct model. So for screens, typically the unit the brightness is measured with is nit, and I've looked it up that for a good consumer screen of a cell phone might have about 450 nit. So that would be the real brightness of the phone screen. However, if we turn it off, so we set intensity to 0 again we suffer from the same problem, that it will be completely black. And instead of having that, I would like to have my phone off material, as soon as there is no emission happening. And I can define a base material for the add emission material. And to do that, I can simply start dragging in the preview rendering of my phone off material and can assign it as the base material for my emissive material. You see that now when the phone is turned off, we see that material appear. However, if we bring the emissiveness on, we start seeing our texture again. Finally, I would like to address an issue that I see people run into when they use materials in bright sunlight. So that happens if you go to lighting and you enable the sun and sky, you will see one phenomenon that is confusing people. They say, oh, my emissive material turns black, or it seems to become almost completely black. And what you see here is actually what's really happening, and you can do the test yourself, walk into bright sunlight, turn on your phone screen and try to read it. It's basically, you will see that effect. And what's even worse, there is a layer of glass on top of your phone. So basically you're seeing reflections, and the light that's being emitted from the phone compared to the brightness of the environment is so little that you have serious problems reading your display screen. So that's the phenomenon. So don't worry. In such a case, probably just change the environment. So the lighting of the default environment map has the brightness of a typical office space. That's why in this environment we see the texture and the phone screen really well. So that's been the first part of this tutorial. In the second part, I'm going to show you to make a phone screen more realistic, and we're going to use a layering mechanism. So instead of placing a modeled glass with a glass material on top of the phone screen, we use the layering in Iray for Rhino to create a layered, realistic looking worn phone screen material. So see you next time. If you want to learn more about our software, visit us at nvidia.com/iray.